Hi, I'm William Schreib. This is a video of the question and answer session that followed my live webinar on the modes and elements of astrology. It was presented in September 2013 on the School of the Holy Sciences webinar site. In live mode, I did my best to answer the questions from the attendees of this webinar. Some sections were shortened, and a few graphics were added to clarify my statements. I hope you find that this information adds to your understanding of astrology. My moderator, Dan Emmerich, is here, and he's going to pass me some questions, and I'll see if I can answer them. This may slow us down a little bit. We have some questions coming in.
Could you cover significance of sun, moon, and rising?
So, yes, okay. This is all on my website, astro-visions.com. We got a guide to all this. And very simple. What is the sun? The sun is the projecting light that makes our earth light up. It is our light source. And your sun sign is your personal light source. So if you have a sun in Libra, you would project those cardinal air energies as you express yourself. You project your true stuff. And like I said with that quote in the opening of the vintage wine, you are that moment of the season. You will project that energy. It's more obvious as you get older. You don't project too much self-identity as a young child. Children tend to react. So children project their moon signs, which brings me to the moon sign. What is the moon sign? The moon sign is a reaction. So I throw something at you, you react, and throw something back. You react, reflect, respond. When you do that, the energy changes, and then you are showing your reaction or your moon sign. Like for me, I know it's hard to realize, but I have a Leo moon. And if I want to react to you, I will. And that definitely helps my Capricorn. You probably saw a lot of Capricorn sun here tonight, but I got a Leo moon. I get a little drama here and there. Anyway, the rising sign is kind of in the middle. It's the time of day. It's the mass that you have. It shapes your body. It shapes your bone structure. It is the appearance that everybody sees. It's the window. You've stepped out on the front porch, not projecting yourself, not reacting, not doing anything. You just are. So that's your rising sign. Okay, another question?
Well, she says, what is Pisces sun sign? But you might explain.
Well, a Pisces sun sign is mutable water, as we mentioned. So when you express yourself, you're going to be very liquid expressions, very soft. I consider it the softest sun sign. And that's not negative. That's empathetic of others, compassionate, feeling. But it's not fixed and it's not directed. It's mutable. It's Mobius energy. So you have a gift for weaving in between this energies of other and bringing people together. So when you do that and express your sun sign, that's what the gift you have to offer. Another question.
How do zodiac signs translate in the astral level?
How do zodiac signs translate in the astral level? Well, this is the general direction my work is taking. If you look at the history of all of this and the stuff that Santos talks about so beautifully, the zodiac is a definition of the magic of life itself. The dance of the seasonal lights is what I call it. And that will be some of my later workshops. These 12 steps of creation to be whole and part of the universal energy that comes all together to create this is the dance of the seasons, or the 12 zodiac signs. The movie Dark Crystal, the crystal got broken up into pieces. They were missing parts. It never came together until they got all the parts together. Beautiful film. When they put all the parts together, the light radiated. It worked beautifully. They were able to be pure and whole again. And to me, each of the signs represent one of these pieces. Now, in your personal chart, you may not have any earth signs, or you have no Taurus, but you have other gifts. But you need to appreciate Taurus. Let's say you're a Gemini and your brain's rattling 90 miles an hour. It's about time to go out and smell the roses in the backyard and slow down and ground down. So that is the spiritual essence of the zodiac. Did I answer that right? You have another one, Dan?
Cover tropical versus sidereal. What should we use for birth chart?
Sidereal versus tropical. Well, being I'm a dance of the seasonal lights guy, I guess I got to say tropical. Actually, I went to a conference many years ago in Vancouver, BC, and this yoga master was talking to me about that, and he had a class, and he was one sign off, and I was just learning to study the signs. But it's the same idea. It's a rhythm of this wave that Santos talks about that goes through all time, and there's the wave of the sun cycle, and there's the wave of the earth daily cycles. Just learn to understand the waves and learn to where all the pieces fit together, and I think maybe it doesn't matter whether it's sidereal or tropical. It's the same idea.
If someone has much more of one element in their chart, would this be likely to create difficulties within the personality?
And oh Lord, you want all four of them. That gives you more opportunity to have these four elements within yourself to balance the elemental energies so that you can do physical things and mental things and spiritual things and emotional things. If you've got a whole bunch of two of them and you have no earth, I see this in a lot of charts in my work with Del Horoscope, is a lot of people, if they're missing an element, they tend to, for some reason, compensate. Like a lot of them don't have earth. They are so earthy when I watch them. I have a, no, they can't. They've got to be an earth sign. You know, their whole energy is earth. Something makes that happen, and I don't know why. Life loves to balance its energy out. If you have too much of this, then it wants some of the opposite, or the earth energy to balance the fire. And it wants the mutable energy to tear up too much fixed. It wants the cardinal to push it in a direction. So just work with all the energies, and I think whatever you have is what you were given, and once you learn to work with all of them, I think it's a little easier to get by. I hope that answered for you. Okay, we got another one.
What's the most important clue to recognizing a person's sun sign?
Most important clue. Physically, we talked about the physical points. You saw the caricatures. Go to my website, astro-visions.com. You can see all the drawings, pictures, Dance of the Seasonal Lights section in there. It talks about the cycles of the seasons. And the sun sign is the light of your being. It is the seasonal force that was there when you were born. It is your purpose. It is your part of you that you must express to others and give to others to help them find that little missing part of the crystal. If you're in Aries, then you need to help people find their self-identity and sense of self-worth. Self-esteem would a little more of that would take us into Leo. So you can see where each one of these signs, and a lot of people tell me, I don't know if anyone's going to ask this question, but I'm a 29 and a half, and I don't want to be a Scorpio, I want to be a happy Sag. And I said, no, you're a 29 and a half degree Scorpio, you're a Scorpio sun. We get a little shifts because these waves of creation are running constantly. But your sun sign is what your purpose is. And as you get older and more wiser with time, Capricorn would say that, wiser with time, you will want to be your sun sign. You will want to express that to others. And it's amazing when you watch people really express their true desires, then you're going to watch them take on all these energies of the elements, the frequency level, the rhythms, and the patterns of the mode. Just watch rhythms and patterns, and you're going to see that energy come out as they express their sun sign. And it's the strongest manifestation. One more? Oh, we got more. Oh, lots more.
How do you see if the sun sign and the ascendant are the same?
The sun sign and the ascendant are the same. They are not the same. I've got some pictures. We could look at this. The ascendant is the time of day. It changes sun sign or rising signs every 2 hours. 12 signs, 24 hours in a day. So every 2 hours, unless you're way up north or down south. In Alaska, they got people have 2/3 of the day is dark, so they get all their planets crunched into a few houses. They're interesting people from Alaska, and I'm quite sure down in Australia way we have some of the same stuff. The ascendant is your window to the world. It's the ever-present moment. You're not projecting your sun. You're not reacting with your moon. You're just being. And when you're in that state of being, looking out your front window of your ascendant, seeing the world, what you see every day of your life and every moment is that sign that is there. I have Sag rising. I see a wide scope of the universe. And of course, everybody looks at me and first impression, they see this clowny Sagittarius. And it's a little difficult for us serious Capricorns, you know that. But anyway, so does that explain it? It is using your luminaries and projecting your luminary light. The ascendant changes the bone structure. It changes that mask that we see that protects you. I hope that answered that question.
You talked about rising signs influencing personalities. Have you ever heard of the sounds of your name influencing your personality?
The question was, and have you ever heard that names affect your personality? Well, names are vibrational too. You ever watch Sato's video on words? He takes all these words from thousands of years and how each word has a different vibration. Whatever you were named is a different vibration. That vibration has its effect on others, so it does have a minor effect. If your parents called you Tweedledee, you probably want to change your name. Hi, Tweedledee. Now what? Think about it. Poor Tweedledee. You know, parents have their imagination. We had some really wonderful names come up in the 60s. We had some pretty strange ones. In fact, when I started Dell Horoscope magazine, somebody told me numerology, that's another level of this, was to use the name Bill Schreib, B-I-L, Bill, and my friends started calling me Bill, and actually every proof corrector it went through, it added another L, and so finally I made it William Schreib. It was my original birth name, actually. So much for numerology and names is if you wish to change the energy, I'd say you can do it in your own head and your own actions, and change your own vibes just with your mind, your spirit, your emotions, your heart, and therefore change your physical being. Okay, next question.
For example, the O sound in Sophia is supposed to give Jupiter energy to the person. She read this in Childlight, Parenting for the New Age by Valerian.
Okay, the name Sophia, the O sound, is supposed to give Jupiterian energy. My new niece-in-law is named Sophia. Well, tell you the truth, you're going to have to ask Santos that one. I don't think I can answer that. But nice question, though, and I really like the question. And I kind of agree with you. There is that sort of effect. But I don't know if Jupiter is really the O, like Job. Yeah, I suppose it is Jupiter. Yeah, okay. Jupiter, you know. Next question. Oh, this is fun. Anyway.
Joseph, to calculate, you must have the exact time of birth to determine both sun and ascendant, especially ascendant, since it changes every 2 hours.
The question, what do you do to get your ascendant? It's every minute, particularly on the ascendant, because that's a quick 24-hour cycle. But the ascendant, yeah, it's the hardest thing. I have a lot of my astrologer friends in Spokane and Seattle have called me and said, hey, I got this picture. We don't know her rising sign. Nobody knows my birth time. And so we take a stab at the physical structure of their body. Don't get them reacting. Don't get them doing their luminary stuff, putting on a smile or energizing themselves with the light within or reactive light. Just being. So I'm being here, and I get kind of Sagittarius when I'm sitting here. My hands can't sit still. So that's my rising energy, and it changes with every minute. Like I said, you could be 29.5 degrees Scorpio. You may want to be a Sag, but pretty well, it's amazing that it's that tight of a figure that you could actually narrow it down to within minutes.
Did you learn all this by observation? Have sun signs changed over the years?
The question, if you didn't hear it, is did I learn this by observation and have sun signs changed over the years? It's all observation. This project, as I mentioned, started in the 70s. I was going to prove astrology didn't work. And I went out and I took some pictures. I used to do photography in college. My dad was a Taurus. My friend was a Taurus. That was the first sign to catch because it was the easiest to draw, because it was fixed Earth and very physically observable, as I came to discover. And so it was all observation, and I drew that Taurus caricature I showed you in the opening of this, and how I learned to enhance it by getting into the space and acting it. So it is mostly my own observation. There was a few books that have done wonderful caricatures. A guy came out pre-war with a wonderful book of caricatures. And I just tried to enhance the figures by becoming the energy of the sign. So I observed the signs, I observed the body language. Yes, it is observations. And no, sun signs haven't changed. I think what you're talking about, you look up in the sky, this solar system is kicking this stuff backwards. Every 2,000 years it changes the sign. So that doesn't matter, because the first day of spring on our Earth energy, as we said, the fine wine, the vintage wine on this Earth that we are, is that spot and that place on Earth where we were born. And we can take it back to conception. There is some talk on that. But it is that spot, that energy is part of us. And the first day of spring is still the first day of spring. 5,000 years ago, they were very brilliant, and they saw this 26,000 year cycle. That's the Mayan calendar that everybody talked about. And I don't know how they figured it out. They didn't have telescopes. They just watched things. I guess they didn't drive around in their new cars. They just watched things. So anyway, okay, I hope that answers that question. How are we doing here? More?
What is the effect or possible difficulties of having your sun sign square to your moon?
Sun sign square to moon. Okay, this is another segment. We talk about aspects. We could also talk about Saturn on your sun and your moon square sun. I just finished a celebrity snapshot for Dale Horoscope on Steve Buscemi, the guy in Fargo. He's a Sag. He has Saturn on his sun. Now think of his career. He's not that light, silly, jovial, centaur humor character. He's a rather dark humor character. That's the Saturn. That's sitting on his sun, and his sun was, if I remember right, square his moon. Well, I don't see squares as bad. When it's square, I find it as an opportunity. Something is further away, shall we say. Your emotions are as far away at a square, other than an opposition, from that point. Well, it's as far away emotionally from your sun as it will be in that cycle, in that waveform. So a square makes things distance. It also opens a door, as far as I'm concerned. It brings new direction and new opportunity. So I never saw squares as bad. I mean, we do have things go wrong with squares and conjunctions, and this is getting real complicated for a modes and element thing, but I hope that answered that.
What about twins born 4 minutes apart?
Well, they're going to likely be the same sign, unless they're right on the minute that the sun goes from one sign to another. They certainly can be different. I really don't know how to answer that.
Bliss says the answer to twins born 4 minutes apart. Planets will tend to be near the cusp, so as one falls in one house and the other in the next house.
Oh, so thank you, Bliss. She says, or he says that the planets could actually shift houses. You saw the houses in the up and down way that runs in the circle of the chart where we saw those two triangles of the positive signs and the negative signs. Those are different houses. Imagine this wave that creates life, creates form. Out of all of this stuff around us is light form. And we are light form. We're conscious light form. We're conscious of the light around us at the minute we're born. So the twin is here, and 4 minutes later, the next twin is here. The angle, that 4 minutes is still different. And Bliss's comment was they could probably likely arrange a shift of some planet from one house to another. So that creates a little bit of creative potential that's different than the twin. Thank you, Bliss. I think that's a beautiful statement.
Bliss also says, Libra Sun, Pisces Moon, Aquarius Rising. I find I have to be careful with empathy, so sensitive. Does this make sense?
Pisces Moon, Aquarius Rising, Libra Sun. Well, first of all, Libra, you want balance and beauty in the world. The energy is to be in balance. You don't like the force pushing, but that's part of the process. Your job is to keep it in balance. That's your key contribution. Yes, Aquarius, you're not afraid to stir the pot up and present new revolutionary ideas, and the Pisces means you want to do it, whether it's your emotions or your window. Then we'll have to do this in another session because this is getting complicated.
One more question, then. Why is my name on your video screen?
Because you are the head moderator. Actually, that's Dan there. Bill is sitting in the background pushing buttons. Oh, gee. Okay, I guess thanks for sticking with us, people. Thank you, Ruth, for making this possible with the School of the Holy Science. And remember, if you guys buy a book and you would like one, or you look at the pages on it on my website, Astro-Visions, put the dash in it, or you'll get some NASA site with pictures of the stars. We're doing a lot of work here. We're going to work on some videos. I've got a couple of them up on the YouTube, Astro-Visions channel. Check that out. That's about it, and golly, thanks for coming, and we appreciate you being here. Oh, it's a wonderful turnout from all around the world. Take care.